everyone. This is Jake Folger, and before we start the tutorial, I'm going to share here some of my other frogs I've made. Yeah, I really enjoy making frogs a lot, as you can see from this. I want to share something also with you. Uh, I'm asking the people that like my videos and that sort of thing to support me as a patron of me and my tutorial videos. Uh, if you become a patron, it's a very small amount of money, a pledge every month, starting at $5 a month. And you can, once you're a patron, you get exclusive behind the scenes insight into the making of my videos. And this helps support me as a content creator on YouTube. And it would be very helpful if you're interested in that. If you'd like to be a patron and support me in my video making with a small monthly pledge, it would be really great, and it would help me a lot. So if you look in the video description down below the video, you'll see a link to my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/JakeFolger, and you can click on that and go to my Patreon page and sign up if you like. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon, my name is Jacob Folger and I'm an artist sculptor, and today I'm going to show you how to make a frog like this. He's reading a book, sitting on a mushroom, and the mushroom is a fairy house with a window, a door, a doorknob, and a staircase. I actually like making things like this, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to show you guys how to make it. So we'll just set him there for a minute and we'll get started. The first thing I'm going to do is roll the base for the mushroom to sit on. And so what I do first is I knead the clay a little bit to condition it, basically getting all the ingredients of the clay working together properly so that when we bake it, it will last a long time. Then I roll it in a ball between the palms of my hands, like this. Now I will flatten it a little bit, like this, by just kind of squeezing it. Now I'm working in Polymer clay. This is a brand that I like called Sculpey 3, and the reason why I'm using black is because it looks really good with the finishes that I do. I'm going to put this on a piece of paper because it won't stick to that, and if I want to pick it up or handle it or anything like that, I'll be able to get it off the table real easy with the paper down there. I'm going to press it into the table a little bit, further flattening the base. But I do want it to be a mound, basically. I do want it shaped like this. Next I'm going to roll and make the mushroom stalk. So I'll start off with a piece of clay like this, kneading it a little bit, conditioning it. I'll start by rolling it into a ball, and then I'll start rolling it to and fro. And if you notice, my hands are kind of like an upside down V shape. If I roll it like that, it turns it into kind of like a cone. Which is basically the shape of a stalk, of a mushroom stalk. Now I'm going to take my finger, my forefinger and my thumb like this, and I'm going to squeeze it. Now if I squeeze it like that, it would probably deform the clay. I want it to be fairly uniform going all the way up. So squeezing it like this with my finger going up the stalk like that, it won't deform it. I'm flattening the bottom with my thumb. So it should look like that. I'm going to just set it on there for now, on top of the base. And then I'm going to flatten the top a little bit like that. Now I'm going to make the cap of the mushroom. Let's move this back out of my way a little bit. I'm going to knead the clay, again conditioning it, roll it into a ball, and then I'm going to kind of be squeezing it between my forefinger and my thumb, like that, while rotating it. And that's kind of the shape it's becoming. And so that basically is the shape of the mushroom cap. I want to just see how that looks now. It seems a little small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a little bit more pressure, flaring out the base a little bit more. Now we'll have a look. And that looks pretty good. Now I can check it to make sure it's uniform, going around so that it's basically round, just by squeezing it like that. Okay, now we're going to assemble it the way it should be. I'm going to take a sculpting tool like this that's got a sharp end, and I'm going to score the top of the base, the bottom of the mushroom stalk. Scoring means to scratch it and kind of roughen it up a little bit. And then the top of the mushroom cap, like that. and the bottom of the mushroom cap. I said mushroom, this is mushroom stalk. I think I called it a cap. Not sure, to be honest with you. Okay, so now the bottom of the mushroom cap, like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. This is wire. And I believe this is, yeah, this is 18 gauge steel wire. You can get this at the hardware store. You can probably find it at a bead store. Something like that. I'm going to pull off a little bit of a length there. And I'm going to cut it with these wire cutters. There we go. And I'm going to use this wire to reinforce everything. What I'm going to do, just to make it a little bit stronger, is I'm going to bend it in half, like this. So it looks like this. And then I'm going to take a pair of pliers and hold this end like that and twist it. Like that. So now that wire is going to be fairly strong. And then I'll make sure it's straight. And I'm going to put it up right through the center of the stalk, and sometimes it comes out the side. Let's see how I do. If it comes up out the side, then you back it up and send it through again. Here, so it came out right here. I don't really want it coming out there, so I'm going to back it out, put a little bit of leverage this way, which would cause the end to go the other way. And look at that. It came right up the center pretty much. And I'm going to send it up through. Now I'm going to do the mushroom cap and put it on there. Like that. And now I've got this, it has to go on the base as well. So I'm going to hold it, I'm going to hold the top so it doesn't slip, slip in there. And I'm going to push it down on the base like that. And now I'm going to twist the parts together while applying pressure so that they actually stick good together. By doing it this way, it'll really last a long time. If it falls over, tips over, or something like that, it's probably not likely to break. Polymer clay is pretty durable stuff once it bakes. And I have a lot of pieces around my shop, and my shop isn't that big. It's kind of cozy, let's put it that way. And I bump around in here, and my doggy bumps around in here. So we bump and we knock things over, I would say, on a regular basis, and nothing is breaking. And the reason why is because of the way I make it. You want to make, whenever you make something, you want it to be a quality. You want it to be well built and made well. I'm just kind of flattening the base by pushing down on it. And that's what it looks like. And we're going to leave that wire coming out for the frog. Next we're going to make the frog. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little ball of clay here, and I'm going to knead it a little bit, conditioning the clay the way we're supposed to. And then I'm going to roll a ball. So it looks like that. I'm going to roll it just slightly to and fro, like this. So now it's more of a short oblong shape. I'm going to take this finger like that, that finger like that, and I'm going to roll it like this between my fingers. What I'm doing when I do that is I'm creating a head, a neck, and the body. if we do it like that, it will be a lot easier to put together, and the frog will be a lot stronger. So he's about where I want him. Now I'm going to take my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm going to squeeze along the edge here, forming his mouth. Squeezing here, and that's basically how the beginning of his head should look. Now I'm going to roll 2 balls, and I'm going to be working on the eye casing, the eye casings. Let me make one a little bigger. I'm just going to roll 2 balls, and I'm going to roll both of them before I start working on the head, applying them to the head. And the reason why is because I want the eye casings to be about the same size. So if I roll them first, making them both the same size, then they will be the same size when I put them on the head. 2 balls, the same size. Now, we are going to apply the casings to the head. With a twisting motion like that. And you want them to be the same distance apart. Now I make frogs all the time. I've been making frogs for many years, and so I'm probably going to be a little bit faster at this than you are, but that's okay. With time and a little bit of patience and practice, you'll get very good too, I'm sure. I'm going to take this little sculpting tool here, and I'm going to blend the eye casing into his head. Meaning I'm drawing the clay down from the upper part to the lower part to the head. Like that. Don't worry if it's a little bit rough. We can go back. We can smooth it with a little brush and some alcohol. Just go all the way around. Take your time. The other thing that you can do to sort of make the smoothing a little bit easier is just by patting it with your thumb and your fingers, like I'm doing, just patting it, applying a little bit of pressure to the clay. I'm going to include a couple things in the video description below the video, and they include a complete tool and supply list, baking instructions for Sculpey 3 polymer clay, because we're doing this in Sculpey 3, so if you're using a different brand of clay, you will want to follow the baking instructions for that brand. And links to my smoothing videos that tell how to smooth polymer clay. Just so you have that. And there might be some other support videos there that might be helpful, also in the video description. So there we go. There's a little gap there. Let me fill that in. Okay. Now, so he's looking pretty good. I'm going to take a medium size craft type paintbrush. I'm going to be using this end here, and I'm going to create the eye sockets for the eyes. Like that. I'll do the other one here. Just try to have them in the center if you can. You know, your first frog, if you've never made a frog before, your first frog might be a little bit rough. It's okay. Don't be impatient or frustrated with yourself. This is new and your hands have to get used to doing this type of thing. Now, like the eye casings, we're going to roll one just eyeball to check and see how it works. And then we'll just adjust, remove clay if we have to, check it again. But don't put it in yet, not yet. Roll another ball that's the same size as the eyeball. That way we get two eyeballs that are the same size. Everything looks a lot better when you've got two of the same thing. You definitely want them to be as close to the same size as possible. And then you just put them in the eye socket like that. Just press them in gently. Now I'm going to take this tool again that we used to score the mushroom parts and that sort of thing, and I'm going to put in eye pupils. Just take your time. Now, sometimes my hands shake a little bit. I think it's very natural. What I do here is I'm holding them like this. I put this finger, my ring finger, on my thumb, and I use it to steady my hand while I sculpt the eyes. See, I'm resting my finger, my ring finger, on my other hand to steady my hand. I'm going to rest it here on his eye casing. Any place where I can to just steady it a little bit. And that's basically how his eyes should look. Like that. Okay, so that's how his eyes should look. And now we're going to start getting him on here, onto the mushroom would be the next step. I don't usually put nose holes or mouth indications on my frogs, so if you want to do that you can, but that's basically what one of my frog heads usually looks like. I'm going to see if I can shorten this wire a little bit. I don't need it that long. One thing I should tell you is you should watch where the wire, you know, that was kind of a mistake on my part there. I didn't hold the end of the wire and it went flying, and as I've been warn people that watch my videos, is you don't want that wire on your floor, because if you're ever barefoot, or your kids or your dog or your cat, you know, that wire could get into their foot. So just be careful about that. You can hold on to it. You can position your wire cutters where you're going to cut, hold it there and place a cloth over it and then cut it. That would stop it, the wire from going anywhere. You can place a towel to buffer the wire, and you can put the towel in a sink and you can cut it so that it goes into the sink. Generally when you cut wire cutters have two ends, obviously two sides. This side here is smooth and straight across, and this side here is open. See? When you cut wire, it will generally go flying this way off the open end, not the closed end. So if you cut like this, the wire will go that way. And of course you want to watch your eyes as well. Okay, so then we just take the little guy here and put him on. Well, actually, I should show you this. We should score his little rear end, score the top of the mushroom, and then put him on the mushroom top here, the mushroom cap, and then just basically twist that into place. Now what you can do is you can take your sculpting tool and just smooth that joint with the top of the mushroom, just so it's nice and clean. I hope you saw that. Sometimes I go up and off camera here, and I apologize for that if I do. Okay, I'm just sort of straightening things out here. Now I'm going to take a little bit of clay. I'm going to knead it, conditioning it. Then I'm going to roll it into a ball. Roll it to and fro like this. So it looks like that. And then I'm going to fold it a little bit so that it's in half, and both this is the middle point. I'm going to cut that. And I'm going to add it here to the lower end of his body. These will be his legs. Going to blend it, blend the legs into his body. And if you need to use a tool for that, you can. And then what you can do is you can decide how you want to position his legs. I am going to put his legs, I think let me try it and see. I try different things when I'm doing this. And basically, yeah, I think just sort of relaxed and crossed at the bottom there. And then what you can do is you can just turn up the ends, and that will make his little feet like that. If you give them a little bit more of a squeeze, they will broaden and become more feet shaped. And then you can take your sculpting tool and just cut in and shape any places where it's a little rough or whatever. You see it's kind of a little bit rough there. There we are. Now, let's see. Oh, I don't know. I like frogs that read books, don't you? So let's make a book. I'm rolling a ball like that. I'm going to squeeze it a little bit like that, so it's round like that and flat. kind of about that flat. I'm going to take this finger, these two fingers like that, and I'm going to squeeze, 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 and now it's kind of square shaped. And then I think what I'll do is I'll put it on his knee like that, pushing and kind of shaking at the same time will get it to blend in nicely. I'll take my sculpting tool once again, and I'll put a little divider there. If I rock it back and forth like that, it sort of opens it up. And then what you can do is you can take you take that same sculpting tool and just put a line going down there like that. And then you can put a few lines here and a few lines here, kind of giving some definition to the pages like that, and also on the end like that. Makes a fairly convincing book. And then I'm going to roll two balls about the same size, like this, and then I'm going to roll noodles. You can roll noodles like this, or you can roll them between your fingers like this. I'm going to roll this one, will be so it'll be the same size as the other. About the same size, maybe a little bit longer. Okay, and then you can decide where it's going to go. Let's set it there for a minute. Set on the other side for a minute. This would probably work better with a sharp knife. You can just go ahead and cut it off so that it's not coming off the back like that. And you also can decide where it's going to go and put your finger as a marker there and pinch it and do it that way. Whatever works. And then you just put them where the arms should go, or the shoulders and arms. Press them into place. And then hook them up to the book. Like that. Now you can take your sculpting tool and just blend in the shoulders. Like that. It's coming along, eh? Just blend it in, and now you can also adjust his head. And if you notice, I'm not just turning his head down, I'm tilting it a little bit because it adds interest to the piece. I'm not turning it so far down that you can't see his eyes, because his eyes are really pretty and we want people to see his eyes. I'm just turning him down, turning the head down a little bit, tilting it a little bit. This is what I've got so far. And so now we're gonna go ahead and do the fairy house part. I'm going to use a paintbrush like this, and I'm just going to twist and push and then widen this hole here, and that makes a window. Very simple. You can take the back end of a tool like this. You can use a paintbrush, you can use all kinds of things. Back end of a paintbrush, and you can press in here, creating the doorway. Like that. And just sort of take the tool and kind of go around that inner edge and just smooth it out. Smooth it with your hands, your fingers. You can take the other end of this here and just draw a line down, creating the look of wood planks for the door. Cut in at the bottom like that. You can take a very small ball of clay like this and roll it like that. Hold the house backwards, sideways like that, and drop the ball onto the door like that, and then just move it to where you want for a doorknob like that. Now you can take little balls of clay about this big, flatten them out a little bit like that, and build a little staircase. I'll put one there. Roll a ball, flatten it, add it to the base, press it in there. Do it again. Makes a cute little fairy house. I bet you don't see many fairy houses like this. This one, by the way, and this one is already in my art shop. This one will be in my art shop in the next day or so. If you'd like to visit. And also there's way over 100 different sculptures in there and art prints, and I do a lot of things besides, you know, sculpting. I also am a art photographer, and I just do a lot of different things, so it's kind of fun to visit. It's on Etsy, and it's jakecreates.etsy.com, and I'll put the address on the video too. So once you have the staircase on there like that, you can take your sculpting tool and just kind of blend it in. You can just do it neatly. Try to do it neatly. If you blend it into the base like that, like I'm doing here, that will make it pretty sturdy once it bakes. You can cut it into the door a little bit here. Let's see, I'm going to kind of straighten up that door a little bit. Just going to add another line here to sort of define it a little bit better. Yeah. And now just go around and take your sculpting tool and just, you know, cut things in. And when I say cut them in, I'm just basically meaning to define better the joints and that sort of thing. Just make it kind of a little bit neater. Let's see here. I'll take my paintbrush again and put a window on the back like that. Another one here. Like that. And you can also take alcohol. This is just basically alcohol. You can get this at the pharmacy or, you know, the drugstore. This is 70%. They have higher. They have 90%. Some people will suggest cutting it with water to make it less strong, but I don't see it as being a problem. I never do cut it, and it seems to be okay. I've never seen the clay break down or do anything like that. I don't like to put a lot of it on there. I've got some alcohol in this cup here. What I do usually is I dip it in good, and then I'll have, you know, I've got a little piece of cotton here, and I'll just dab that on a piece of cotton or paper towel or something like that, and then that way there's not tons of it on the brush, and then I'll just take my time and go around and brush, you know, all the imperfection and sculpting marks and that sort of thing. You can use your finger to smooth it. That will work, and work probably faster in some ways. And then follow it up with the brush and alcohol. You know, just take your time. Try not to get it sopping wet with the alcohol. Just take, you know, just do what I just showed you. You know, take some of that alcohol off. You don't need to have it on the brush like that. And just go around and smooth everything out. So you can use your finger too. Just take your time. Actually, you really don't want to skimp on this step, because after it's dry it would be kind of hard. You'd have to sand it and do all this stuff. And you don't really, I mean, you might as well do it while the clay is soft. So just take your time and go around. And yeah, that's basically how you smooth it. And also that video I have will show you some more on smoothing polymer clay. I'll be sure to put that in the video description, as I promised earlier. Also, you know, you want to make sure that it is standing and that the base is good and flat, that, you know, it's as straight as you want it to be. I like to make my mushrooms leaning. As you can see, that one, he's leaning. I mean, I kind of like to add a little bit of life to the pieces. You know, a little tilting, tilt the mushroom cap a little bit, that sort of thing. Sign it, put your signature on there. I'll show you how I do that, just so you know. Some people, you know, takes a while to figure out unless somebody shows you. I might as well show you how you do it, how I do it. Take this tool. This is my signing tool. I use it all the time. And basically, I just make little marks with the tool to identify the letters. And I also have an identification mark, which is kind of private. I don't share it, but it's on all my sculptures. And then I just, let's see, finish this up here. And there it is. And then so you just go around, smooth everything out. And so now I'm going to demonstrate how I do a finish, so you can see that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and finish it. This is Pearl X Pigments, and this is what I use like most of the time when I do my finish. I do other finishes, but this I like to use a lot, and I do this a lot in the videos that I make. This is spring green. I have silver. I have purple, or reflex violet. I call it purple. And I have bronze, which is antique bronze mixed with a little bit of gold. And let's see, so I think I'll go ahead and do the frog first. And so I'm going to do the frog in green. What I do is I put the cap here, and I'll dip it into the powder, put it in the cap like that to get the powder in the cap, and then I'll work from the cap like that. I'll dab it into the powder, and then like on a piece of paper or something like that, and that will just kind of stop the powder from going everywhere. And then I just basically lightly brush it. Yep. And just take your time and go around. Now I will go back later on and smooth this guy out, but I want to go ahead and finish here with you guys. Now I am gonna try to avoid the book and the and his eyes, because they're gonna be different colors. And of course, what I'm trying to achieve here is an antique look. I mean, you could make the frog a whole lot brighter if you wanted to, but this is the this is how I like to do it. I just like that kind of older, aged kind of antique look. I'm kind of running out of powder in here. Just get a little bit more. Yep. So that's about right for him. Just make sure I got them all. I do put this on before I bake it. That way the finish is baked into the sculpture. I'm getting a little bit of silver here. I'll put it on the book. And let's see, also on the stairs, I think. And also on the doorknob, like that. And then I think I'm gonna do the bronze. I'm gonna show you how I do the eyes. And what I do is I dip my finger into it like that, and then I swirl it just like once with my thumb, just to kind of get it smoothed out. And then I basically just gently highlight the eyeballs. And if you get some on the green, you can go back with a little bit of green and just touch it up. like that. Now I'm going to go back with a little bit of green right there and just touch up the top of his eyes there where I got some on there. And I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do the mushroom cap in purple, or again, Reflex Violet is the name of it. It's really a pretty color, look at that. So I dip it into the brush, into the, into the jar, and then into the lid. Dab it on the paper and do the mushroom cap. You can, between colors, you want to clean it off with a rag. I have a rag in my lap. I always have a rag in my lap when I'm sculpting because it's convenient for me. I like it a little bit brighter on that color. I like it a little brighter. I'm going to use a smaller brush here to do the door in purple. Like that. And then I'm going to do clean my brush. I'm going to do the mushroom stalk in bronze. Sometimes putting the bronze on with your finger is nice. Works good. Sometimes it even looks better. I like it both. I like it both ways. I like it with the brush and also with the finger. But you can see clearly that I'm just trying for a very subdued, antique-y look. Just hit that with my thumbnail. It's best, by the way, when you're handling the sculpture to hold it like this, where it's just cradled in your fingers, as opposed to holding it between your fingers, because that can deform it. And for finish continuity, I generally do the bottom as well, so that it's consistent all the way around. Now, since I've been holding it, handling it, whatever, I like to go back and just make sure I haven't deformed anything, like the windows sometimes get a little deformed. And that cradling it in my hand, not holding it, cradling it. Straighten out the window. And there he is. There he is. And that is how you make a frog on a fairy house reading a book. Now, baking. I'm going to put baking instructions again in the video description, but just to let you know, this is for Sculpey 3. Sculpey 3. This is not your brand that you're trying out or whatever. This is Sculpey 3. You would preheat the oven to 275 degrees. Put it on a slick and shiny plate, ceramic plate. or fireproof plate and put it in the oven for 15 minutes per quarter inch of thickness of clay. So what does that mean? If let's say the stalk of the mushroom is the thickest part and it's an inch thick, then you would bake it for 1 hour. Also, when you're baking it, make sure that it's sturdy. If it's leaning way over, or it's shaky, or whatever, you want to make sure it's sturdy standing so that it won't fall over while it's baking, because clay does get soft while it's baking. So you want to make sure that it's standing up straight and it's sturdy and it's not going to fall over. Okay? If it is going to fall over, or you think it's going to fall over, fix it before you bake it. Or, well, I mean, you really got to fix it. But then the things you can do is you can add clay to the base to make the base broader, larger surface area so that it will stand up straighter. There's a number of things you can do. But if you're not going to do that, at the very least, lay it down. Lay it down. And support it on something that won't burn, like rocks or something. But support it so that, you know, it doesn't come out deformed. And so that's basically it. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I have many videos along these lines. Please rate the video and comment. Tell me what you think about it. If you have any questions, you can also leave those in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.